record. We are now
One sec,
recording.
guys.
What? Huh? Oh shit.
Said
He said one
said
sec.
screw you guys.
Damn. That sounds about right. All right. Well, now we're waiting.
All right, sorry about that. We're good.
No, you're good. So whenever you're ready, Scrooms. Stream paused. All right. Good job. Good
Yeah,
job.
sorry.
No,
I
you're
gotta
good.
change keyboards so I can get my shit. All right, ready?
Yep.
Ready?
Cool. Let's get into it. So before we even start looking at the replays, I want to go over the main theme that I'm going to be covering, which is playing safe as a third man. I
Okay.
think that this is pretty much the biggest issue that you guys are having right now, and it's what needs to be addressed first before we can even think about fixing other things. So that's what we're going to be working on this week.
Okay.
I'm going to look at the first two games because I think that they illustrate the point that I'm trying to get across pretty well. And yeah, so let's get into it.
Cool.
Get this control. All right. So this is fine. That's a fine challenge. I like that. So here, why do we get scored on here?
I pushed up
Basically,
too far at third.
that's it. Yep, that's right. So you see that your teammate is going to force a bang, right? Surge
Yep.
is obviously challenging it. And it's obvious that Surge is not going to be able to get a 50 here, right? He's leagues away from him. So what you need to be doing here is basically collecting this pad and then saying, okay, I'm going to play the bang. You drive up the backboard and try to cover it from there rather
Yep.
than trying to cover up field and hoping that Surge gets a good touch, which is just not going to happen here. Also, lonely. I
Yeah.
think if you go back post here, you actually have a somewhat decent chance of saving this, but by going through the middle of the net, you kind of put yourself in a really awkward spot, and you're just completely fucked, right? There's no chance. So
Okay.
the initial mistake, right, is going to be on Chris for pushing up too far as third, but then when you become third, right, I would much rather see you take a path along these paths, maybe up the backboard if necessary, or maybe just through the gate, right? So two third man mistakes there.
Okay.
Nice, good challenge. Ball looks fine. That's a fine challenge as well. Gets blocked.
I can't believe Fern got that, bro.
It was really close.
Ooh.
That we would like to be putting that on, but it's fine. It's not a bad thing. Here, I'm not in love with this challenge that Surge does. Right? I would much rather see him fake the challenge, right? Because as soon as he sees he has possession, right, he knows he's last man, right? He knows that Lonely is on 0 on recovery time, and Chris is even further up the field and is not going to be able to help, right? So if Beans actually plays this well and gets the ball past him, he's screwed. I would much rather see him take this pad, maybe fake a challenge in, but then immediately shadow the net and just be ready, right? As it stands, he does challenge and he does get the ball out, right? You can see that he has to flip to the left to even make contact with this ball. There's a really decent chance that his 50 is just going to go straight to Alex anyway, and then you're screwed because you're driving backwards in the middle of the net, right?
Right.
And you're not going to be able to help him out here. So I'd much rather see him play it safe, and instead of trying to force this 50 before his teammates are set back, just shadow, fake the ball, and shadow. It's a bit of an awkward touch.
Yep.
But it ends up being okay. Let's see what went wrong here. We go back. I would prefer to see you not flip into this challenge, Lonely.
Okay.
I would prefer to see you single jump and just try to force this 50 out to the corner rather than trying to go for some hero dunk, right? Because you know you have Surge behind you pretty much full. You know you have Chris coming in pretty much full, right? There's nobody upfield to receive it if you do get a hero dunk, right? Chris would have to take time to turn. Beans probably beats him to that. So instead, I'd rather you just single jump and try to force the ball into this corner, which Surge will then have an easy follow up. You get Chris to come and cover your back post, and you guys are rock solid on defense, right? As it stands, you go for this dunk play, and end up kind of forcing the ball out to mid, which Surge then has to react to, right? It's pretty much just a pass to Alex. and he gets speed 2. That
Mhm.
could have been a goal. Alex put it on, I think.
Right.
I like this spacing. Chris, I think that you're a little bit far up as third man here. I would prefer to see you behind this midline. Obviously, you're pretty close to it, right? So it's not an egregious positioning mistake, but I'd prefer to see you hanging in right around this area.
Got it.
Now, once that ball goes past Lonely, you're good to engage, right? Surge staying here kind of makes things pretty awkward for you, I think. But it ends up being okay. It's a good bang. That's okay. Now here again, right? I would prefer to see you not challenge that ball Lonely, because really, you know that he's going to beat you to the ball, right? He has really good odds to dunk you because he's on the wall, right?
Right.
And all you really need to do, if we go back here, is just let this ball roll, and then you can deal with it in the corner, or
Mhm.
Surge can deal with it, right? Instead, it bounces high, it becomes really awkward. Surge has to make a read, and you know he's on low boost due to the, him just spawning in and all that.
Right.
So instead, just, don't try to do too much. Ball is safe in your corner, let it go there, and then deal with it.
Okay.
And then here, I would prefer to see you not bang this ball, right? Now, I'm a little bit torn on this one, because if we go to your perspective and go back a little bit, it's going to be close, right? You beating Alex to this ball, but I think that you have enough time that you could get a controlled chip to the right, and then you have a free 1v1 against their last man.
Mhm.
As it stands, you kind of just bang the ball and give it away to Fern, if that makes sense. So another
Yeah.
theme a secondary theme that I would say is that you guys need to take more time when you have it, right? You have a tendency to kind of rush things in an attempt to play fast, and I think there's a lot of pressure that you guys give up because of that.
Okay.
And a lot of times you just kind of give away possession, and especially at Elite, if you play possession, you're going to dominate teams.
Mhm.
Let's see what's next. So 328. Chris, you cannot challenge this ball. I hate to say it, but
Yep.
you're on nothing, right?
0. Yep.
You see Surge in midfield and Lonely in their net. This should be throwing red flags all over the place. So you need to simply fake this challenge and try to buy time for your teammates to get back and get set up. Because as it stands, I mean, he's just pretty much by you for free, and then that leaves Surge in a really awkward position. At this point, like if I'm Surge's teammate, you just have to say good luck and hope for the best. Now, thank God they can't shoot, right? But realistically, they should have punished that.
Mhm.
And gotten a goal off it. Lonely here, this is a pretty minor mistake. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I would prefer to see you go into net to dodge this demo, right, and use the front post to kind of shield yourself from him.
Mhm.
One thing that I like to do is I'll go in here and then I'll make a jump and land on this wall right here, right? And that pretty much protects you from beams, and it also makes it so that, oh God, I'm still drawing. It makes it so that you have a good chance to jump back and cover anything that goes here, right?
Right.
Whereas by you coming out this way, you kind of just give him the demo, even though you're not actually dead, right? You're just leaving the entire net open. You have very low odds to save anything that's not literally just right on this corner, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But
Makes
again,
sense.
minor thing.
Okay.
Let's see what's coming up next. Great shot. Really well done. Nice
Great
counter.
conversion by Chris.
Well,
Yeah.
Surge.
It's a tough shot on one boost, I'm not going to lie. One that I might miss. It's fine. He kind of beats you, but that's okay. Well done to find Surge upfield. That's a really good look. Surge, one thing for you, I know you're not here, but I would prefer when you're playing outlet, once you've challenged this ball right, you have a ton of boost. I would prefer to see you playing up on the wall, right? That way, when Chris passes the ball to you, you can jump off of it and try to hit it infield, right? Which is a lot more threatening than the touch you're actually able to get, which is just into their corner, right? And then once you're there, right, Lonely can then turn and receive your pass midfield and get a really nice shot off. But since you stay on the ground, it's very hard for Chris to get you anything that you're going to be able to put midfield and make a threatening opportunity out of. Hope that makes sense. Fine. Expect you to force out the flick, and then Lonely to follow up. All right, I'm gonna stop here and just say that this is some fantastic spacing. I love this. Right? You have the third man behind midline. You have Surge on the ball. Lonely's mid. He can cover anything that bounces off the backboard or even just a straight infield pass. Really, really beautiful here. Directly after this, I think there's a minor mistake by the third man to push up a little bit too far and then go for a boost that is not there, which is a bit questionable. And
I think
puts
I'm
it-
like, I think I'm positioning for like a hit like around the wall, like wrapping around the corner and coming
Okay.
midfield. So
So
I'm positioning to like drive up the wall.
even if you anticipate that, I think it's a little bit safer to just stay back, right? Because that gives
Yeah.
yourself more space to field anything that might go over your head if you push up, right? But even if the
Yeah, that makes
ball is exactly where you expect it to be, you give yourself time to build momentum to the ball, right? Whereas here, since you push up, right, this ball comes to you, but you kind of have to jump with absolutely no momentum and then just use boost. Whereas if you're back here, it's very easy for you to boost and get a much more powerful touch up to your teammates, one that creates a lot more pressure against the other team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Good turn by Sergio. That's a good challenge. Now you have Chris behind.
Oh,
Close on the top corner. I love that. Oof.
Fern was fucking playing ridiculously in this series too.
Yeah. So now here, I don't love that you, Chris. I mean, I don't love that you take this boost and then you just kind of immediately ship it out and say, all right, fuck it. I'm just out of here, right? If you stay up, right, and simply take that boost and then wait for just a second, Lonely's
Yeah.
going to get a great touch to you that you can then just turn up the wall, maybe get a shot on, maybe hit the ball down to mid for Surge who's over here, right? You can keep a lot of pressure that way. I know it seems a little bit spooky, right? Because you've just seen your last man challenge and there's another one of your teammates upfield. But
Yeah, that's what I saw.
I'm basically just recommending that you, instead of preemptively heading back, wait for the result of Lonely's challenge and then make your decision. Okay, can I stay up and receive Lonely's touch, or do I need to run back immediately? When you decide beforehand, you give up a lot of pressure that you guys could have had, and that would be an extremely strong attack against them, which could very well result in a goal.
I'm gonna grab some water real quick.
Oh, okay. Would you like me to stop or?
Oh yeah, just give me 1 sec.
Sure.
All right, sorry about that, fellas. Go ahead.
No worries. So of course it's going to result in a goal anyway, but
Yeah.
if they don't make those errors on defense, I think you guys have good odds to score just off that first touch anyway. So here we get a bit of a mistake. Serge, I'd like to see you stay on the wall here and just kind of catch the ball on your car and then play it a little bit slower. Currently, it looks like you're trying to bang the ball out, which even if it works, it's just after kickoff, so you don't have any teammates downfield that have boosts to actually receive it. So best case scenario, all you're really doing is giving the ball away to them in their half. And worst case scenario happens and they just kind of get the ball on an extremely strong attack in your half. Chris, I will say, I think oh geez, I'm dropping my controller. I think you had a good chance to save this ball if you just were a little bit stricter about hanging out back post and not pushing through as last man. Right? If you just park the bus in a good position here, this is not a very threatening shot, right? But since you drive through net, you kind of outplay yourself and give him a really good opportunity to score behind you. good to keep it in. I wish you could have found a teammate there, but oh well. Obvious touch. I love that turn, but honestly, I don't love that you decide to actually challenge this ball, right? Because you are last. You know Surge is way out of the play, and he's on 0 right now. I would much prefer to see you. Like, I know this turn is tempting, right? Because it looks like he's just passed you the ball, but you got to remember that you are last. So I would much prefer to see you simply fake this and cover your net. Because if he does get a better touch, like, you're screwed, right? He's got beans to follow up anything that goes like off the backboard, and he's just got to free open that. So that's another kind of third man mistake of going for kind of a greedy keep in 50 rather than playing safe and making sure that you don't get scored on.
Okay.
Again, I would say that you guys had really good spacing here. Chris, I think you do push up a little bit too far past midfield, just in this instance. And then Lonely scores anyway, so it doesn't matter. But something to think about. Just remember that every Unreal unit that you push up past midfield is just a slightly higher probability of the enemy team banging the ball over your head and having a really strong counterattack that you won't be able to deal with because you put yourself there.
Got it.
All right, this is a bit unfortunate, but it is kind of hilarious to me that you both flip in the exact same direction out of the way of the ball.
My rotation was ass.
I was cracking up at that point. Here, another minor nitpicky thing. I think once you see this ball go up, Chris, looks to me like instead of jumping and using all your boost to get to it, since there's no real urgency to get to the ball, you should just drive up the wall. Jeez, I can't move the camera. Hello.
I think I was looking at Alex and thinking he was on the wall already, and he might have. But
so if you do look at Alex here, he's landing with his nose pointing down.
Yeah, he's landing.
Which means that he's both on recovery time for a second, and if he wanted to go up the wall to challenge that, he'd be way late to it compared to you. And then you have good chances to control the ball and use your boost that you would have saved to get an outplay. Whereas it stands, you're just kind of floating with 0, and then you give the ball to Alex anyway. So that's another taking your time when you have it moment that you guys, I think, could have capitalized on. Let's see. Hang on. I had another note here. Yes. So another taking your time when you have a moment is, I think, Lonely here, it would be much... Oh, jeez. Sorry, I'm a bot when it comes to operating the replay. It would be much stronger for you to kind of get over this ball and touch it. Jeez, now I can't move. Hello. And touch it up the wall, and then you're able to follow it, right? Because you still have quite a bit of boost, 41, and you'll be able to mount a good aerial attack off that and give your teammates a time to get into second man position and try to help you out there. Whereas by kind of banging it, you kind of just give it away. Or you don't necessarily give it away, but you definitely weaken the attack.
Right.
And then here, I think we have another instance of third man turning in prematurely, right? And so then you're forced to do kind of a loop-de-loop here, which is Lonely, right? I prefer to see you simply, that's a fine flip, take this pad, look at where the ball is going, see that it's over your head, and then you can just wrap around and cover it from here. Rather than, kind of wasting time going, oh shit, that's over my head, and you do a loop-de-loop. And then it becomes quite awkward, right? Because they're beating into it. They don't do much with it anyways, but, and then that's, I don't know if this is a comms thing or what, but we do not want to be doubling for this ball at all.
Yeah, Surge called me off.
Really shit spot.
Surge called me off on this one.
Yeah. So at that point, you need to just be hustling back to net.
Yeah. I would say it was probably just in both, I think, me and Surge's defense, I just believe it was a late call by Surge because I was already planning to go for another touch, but I didn't calm that I was gonna get a second touch on it. I was just I think I just calmed that that I was just gonna get the first touch on it in the corner.
I mean, so as soon as you see that you can get another touch and you want it, I would just immediately calm go again. That way, there's absolutely no confusion that you are in fact getting another touch.
Yeah.
That's one of my pet peeves. Is my teammates do not calm whether they have another touch or not. So I just kind of have to guess.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to have that. We want the as perfect information we can have about
Right.
our team.
I think the other thing too, to add on to it, I think while our comms are a little late right now, I think as we start playing more often and play together as a team, I think
Mm-hmm.
those comm issues will start to disappear.
For sure, for sure. I'd agree with that. And actually, another note here. Anyway, yeah. Once again, Chris, you kind of ignore the back post rotation, which puts you in an awkward spot to have to jump for this.
Yeah.
If you just have taken, I know those pads weren't actually there, but if you take the pad line and go through the gate, you have a much easier time attacking this ball here, rather than coming through the middle and going, oh shit, I got to jump awkwardly and try to hope,
Yep.
which allows beats to get a kind of an easy touch to outplay you. And then here, I'm going to look at this from your perspective, Chris. Jeez, I go past that every time. Because I think that you actually have the time here to get a nice controlled touch, right? Maybe touch it on the left side, try to catch it, and then try to flick it midfield for a teammate. Here, you just kind of bang like a weak shot that's kind of at net, but kind of at the post, that you have no second man to follow up. If you just take the time to catch it, number one, the defense is going to shit their pants because they're elite players and they don't know what to do. And number two, it gives Surge time to actually get into a good second man position, so that if you flick it to backboard or something, which is wide open at that point, right, he gets a free goal. So just another take your time when you have it moment. That's fine. Good challenge. I'm not in love with this challenge, Lonely, right? Because Surge is on 0, or at least I hope Surge is on 0, right? I hope that he calms that.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be really slow back. And it is, I mean, you're pretty far beat to that ball, right?
Right,
Unless
I'm already
Beans
late.
completely whiffs it, you have no chance of getting to it. So really, by going, all you're doing is saying, good luck, Surge, and leaving him in a really shit spot. Now, fortunately, I think you guys get out of it, right? Yeah, they troll. But that's something really dangerous that I think you should try to avoid in the future.
Okay.
Because more often than not, it will lead to a goal against you, I think.
Right.
That's fine, I think. That's kind of a crazy dunk by them. Weird fake by them. I don't know why he did that.
I think he just missed the ball.
I thought did he not just turn around? Here, look, he just says, fuck that shit.
Oh yeah, I guess he did.
Like,
Alright.
He's got a man behind him, but he's like, actually, I'm faking this. So here, Chris, I would prefer to see you, once you see that this boost is not up, just drive for these pads. And maybe if you have to cut in through here, you cover a lot more of the field and you'll be able to stop a lot more attacks that way. I know that big boost is tempting, but even with just 20 or 30 boost, you can get a touch to keep the ball in, or even be here in a much better spot to actually challenge that, rather than being extremely late to it and getting beat like you were. Bit of a weird jump. That's a hell of a pre-jump. I respect it. I love that touch out. I wish that Surge had not flipped on his way down the paths, because then he would have a much easier time kind of turning in and cutting this ball right back to you upfield, which is, again, an extremely strong attack. Since he does kind of flip, which I think is an overflip in this instance, he does have to wait and then try to go around the ball, which kind of just gives it back to them. Not nearly as strong. That's a great touch. Really awkward spot. Well played by you, Lonely. Huge dunk. Chris here, I think once you basically see Lonely go as second man and you see Surge as first, you need to be thinking, all right, I need to go and play third man and cover anything that might get banged over. By staying mid, I know it's tempting to play for the pass, but you have to recognize that Lonely is not in a position where he can cover third man for you, so that has to be you.
Got it.
Fortunately, he does make it back in time. I don't love this touch by Surge because I feel like it has no real goal other than just to beat Alex, right? If we look from his perspective, could he have gotten a better touch? Surge. Yeah, so again, I would prefer to see him try to just chip that ball into the ramp and then follow it up the wall. I think he has Alex beaten extremely easily here, right? He doesn't need to worry about taking a 50 or anything. So if he just plays this ball kind of, geez, I can't move the camera. Just hitting it down so it'll bounce up and then following it, that'll be a much stronger attack than just kind of doing a weird flip that, you know, he has no teammates middle to follow, and it doesn't really accomplish much when I think he has the opportunity to do a lot more with that. Lonely, I don't love how far you push up here, right? I think it's kind of obvious that Chris is going to follow this ball, but you kind of, it looks a little bit like you almost panic, right? You miss the boost, and then you're like, oh shit, I got to be there anyway, right? I absolutely have to get to this ball, rather than recognizing, okay, Chris is online to that ball. He's going to be full boost once he reaches it. You know, there's no need for me to rush this. I can take my time, grab that boost, and make sure that I'm playing a good third man. Or if Surge calls third, then, you know, you get up there and play second. And then you just score anyway, right? So worst case scenario, right, Chris does not score, and then they get the ball over him, which then goes over you because you pushed up. And best case, he's scoring on his own, and he doesn't need you there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had for that game. Again, I think, you know, the major theme is just try not to leave each other in bad spots on third man and try to kill time for each other when you are third man.
Okay.
I would recommend that in scrims and practice, you guys try to practice making extremely safe decisions as third man. Even if you see an opportunity where you're like, okay, well, you know, there's a really good chance that I get a beat here, but I am last. I need to play safe for my teammates. Just practice making those safe plays, right? And controlling the balls into your corners, making sure that you buy time for your teammates to get boost before you actually try to force anything. Especially if you're up or even, right? The main thing is, like, if you're down, right, obviously it's best to play a little bit more aggressively, play for some more low percentage plays, right, and just the hopes that you get a goal. But if you're up or even, you do not need to force anything. You should be trying to play extremely safe and wait. These players will outplay themselves, I promise you. They will make mistakes, and if you can just capitalize on them and try to limit your own mistakes, it's free. It's free low. Okay, let's go to game 2. Jeez. Oh god. Better read notes. So that's a bit weird. I had a note here. I think that after kickoff, right, Surge needs to basically put ball cam on and see, all right, shit, you know, they're gonna get possession. What I need to do is grab these pads and try to cover net as fast as possible, right? Because you know Lonely's last, you know Chris is on recovery time, and Lonely's kind of in an awkward spot to make a challenge here. And then the backflip. And
backflip fucking twice.
Unfortunate. Good lord, that's
rough.
It's a bit rough. Alright, so this is one of the most awkward moments I think. Oh shit, sorry. One of the most awkward moments I've seen from your scrims. Basically, Lonely goes to Timbuktu to try to get boost, right? Surge rotates back ball side, and this basically makes it so that Chris is fucked as third man and can't really press until Surge is out of his way, and he thinks Lonely will be back in time, right? Which leads to him being very late to this ball, right? I would much rather see, from this moment, Lonely is just hustling along these pads, trying to get to third. Surge needs to go across the net and maybe look bumps, and then at that point, you know, maybe Chris can challenge this ball, but realistically, he's so late to it that he probably needs to fake it anyway. I just think it's extremely risky for you guys to take these kind of erratic paths back on defense and out of rotation. And because he sees Surge do that, right, then he has to do that loopy-loop thing in mid rather than being able to cleanly go, okay, I can just press this ball, right? I can go up the wall. It's going to be no problem. And then at 436, I had something. Yeah, so very similar mistake to last game, I think, Lonely, where you kind of turn in prematurely. You see, oh, shoot, the ball's over my head. Let's do a loop-de-loop and get back, rather than simply, from here, going this way, and then you can deal with the ball in the corner very easily. Does that make sense? So here, I do not think you can challenge this ball. Right? You absolutely need to fake this. Because Alex, if he's any sort of a good player, right, he's going to punish you. He's going to take a good 50 and get the ball by you. And then Surge is going to be last man with 20 boost. And he's pretty screwed because you guys are both in their half, out of the play for pretty much forever. Their team is on, high boost, which obviously you can't know, but you should suspect it. And you need to just play that quite a bit safer, I think. Just fake it and shadow all the way. Give your teammates time to get back. It's a really good shot opportunity. And here again, Chris, you kind of cheat the back post rotation here. Yeah. Whereas, had you just gone along these paths, I think you'd have a really good opportunity to challenge this ball off the backboard rather than it being over your head and you being extremely awkward and just kind of praying that Fern doesn't punish you for it. Really good block in the end, but I think we could do better not to put ourselves in such awkward positions. That's maybe a questionable dive, but, I'll allow it. And here, Lonely, you have to play this ball off the wall. You cannot take the time to turn in, especially if you miss, because Alex, he sucks, but he really should have punished you. That should have been a goal.
Right.
So I think the play here is try to jump and meet the ball as it comes to the wall, and just try to get a soft pinch into your corner.
Okay.
That kills the most time. You'll probably be able to follow it up then with full boost, and your teammates will be behind you at that point. But because you let him take a free shot, he should have scored, right? It's a good bang out. Be nice if only had boost. Here, it's extremely awkward, right? Because you and Surge are at the exact same place at the exact same time. Maybe it's just a comms thing, right? Maybe Surge is expecting you to play the ball and he'll just get out. But basically, if you can't get this ball, you need to be calming immediately, like, nope, sorry, I can't do anything. And then honestly, if I were you, I know it's not the most conventional rotation. I would just half flip and get the hell out of there, right?
Okay.
Let your two players push up. Surge is maybe low, but he can still pressure the ball, and then Chris can play second. You'll be back with boost to be third, rather than you guys kind of both playing the exact same. And then you leave Chris with pretty much no second man. I mean, I know Surge turns in there, but he really should be third at that point. Good on-the-fly play from him, and then you cannot challenge that. There's just no shot, right? This guy has full boost, he's got possession, you're in a 1v1, and you have no one behind you. Diving for this when you know he's first is, that's just not very cash money, right? So I think the play here is just either wait back, right? Literally let him catch the ball first and see what he's going to do. Or maybe I would be probably power slide cutting around here and then trying to shadow to cover my net. Right?
Okay, yep.
Just by throwing yourself at it, you basically give him a free outplay, and then luckily for you, there's nobody from his team mid to follow up, and he can't flick on, but that's another time where I think a poor decision as third man really should have led to a goal against you. It's fine. I love that touch. Nice and controlling. You can force a 50 after. Then here again, Lonely, I think kind of the same mistake, right? You could just let this ball roll. If you don't want to do that, you've got to get a much safer touch, right? You don't want to be banging that because you've got no one behind you to back pass to yet,
Mm-hmm.
and you're basically just making it a lot more awkward for Surge because Surge then has to try to cover. I'm sorry, I've let it go a little bit more. He has to cover both a shot that goes near post and a pass that goes right out to Beans,
Mm-hmm.
and it ends up being the pass which he cannot cover, and he's just screwed.
Okay.
So again, I think just a soft rolling touch into the corner, or wait for it to roll into the corner on its own and then take the ball across your net.
Okay.
Preferably over, not just right in front of, right? Wow, that is a gamer challenge if I've ever seen one. Fine, you can. Here, Chris, I would prefer to see you get a much more controlled touch to your corner as last man, right? There's no real pressure on you to touch this ball quickly. And if we look at your perspective, which is 4, you have pretty much all the time and boost in the world to just kind of get a touch that causes this ball to roll with you, probably up your backboard, and then you can follow it, right? By doing this, you kind of just dime Alex up and make it extremely awkward. Fortunately, Lonely bails you out, but just a nice single jump. We'll do that. We'll do that nicely.
Got it.
The dunk. So, Chris, I think you're a little bit wide here to play second man.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward to me that you come all the way from that side of the field. I would much prefer to see you playing along these pads because then you have a real chance of receiving a pass from Lonely. Whereas if you're all the way over here, kind of unlikely that Lonely's going to be able to get a powerful pass to you that actually results in a goal. And you're also just really far from your teammates, if you notice, right? You can't really help them if they get a kind of an awkward touch. Surge, I think, also pushes a little bit far past midfield prematurely here as third. Just right about here. I prefer to see him just kind of hang out a little bit further back. Obviously, it does work out, but yeah. And then, wait, what went wrong here? Did I have anything? Oh, yeah. So I do not really think that you can even look at this ball, Chris. I think here, if you see, you can see both of your teammates in front of you, right? You got to recognize that you're last, and you need to be like, oh shit, there is absolutely no one covering my net if Beans is able to bang this.
Yeah.
So here, I think you need to be turning out, preferably not taking that path, but this one, and trying to make sure that you're covering your net rather than even debating. Yeah, I mean, you can debate for a second, right? Do I have Beans absolutely dust into this ball? But past that, if you think you can't get it, you just need to head out. Play safe as third. Let Lonely play the second man there because he's already hit the ball and rotated through. If that makes sense. Bit weird. Let's see. Sorry. Okay, so Lonely. Here, I think you have a pretty good opportunity to actually get a threatening touch mid on the ball, but instead you just kind of say, fuck it. This boost is mine and I'm out of here. Which does not really work out well because if you notice your teammates are way behind you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be able to follow up on it and continue to generate pressure. You basically just give up possession. I would much rather see you kind of play this a little bit slower. You can still get the boost, but just hang out for a second and punish Alex's touch, which is pretty much right to you, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Rather than just trying to be like speed. I'm going to get a demo and my teammates are going to play this ball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what goes wrong here? So Lonely, here you're second man, right? Which means that basically your job is to cover any infield pass, right? Anything in that area.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that because you've kind of put yourself in this awkward spot on the wall. And how did you get here, I wonder? Here, I would much rather see you just hold position at front post, even angle a little bit in towards the midfield, which makes it much easier for you to cover. And then, if you do need to go up your backboard, it's still easy for you to turn and go for it. But since you commit to backboard so early, you really limit your options as a defender and make it a lot easier for the offense to get a threatening play going.
Okay.
Which, as it turns out, they do. Kind of a crack touch by Beans, but
right.
and I think also your last man. Yeah. So here, Chris, this is another hold a good position situation, right? Lonely should have held this position. You really should have held this position, right? That way you can stop anything that goes on net. Here, you give up quite a bit of the net behind you that they could shoot at, and even anything really in this area is going to be a little bit awkward for you to save. So again, prefer to see you hold back post. Lonely holds front post, and you guys are absolutely fine on this play. As it stands, you both kind of are a little bit too antsy and push up a little bit too fast, and you get punished for it. It's fine. Here, Serge, you have all the time in the world to do whatever you want with this ball and the boost pretty much to do whatever you want. But instead, you kind of just bang it away and give it to the teammate or to your opponents. So that's just another instance of, we need to take time when we have it, get a dribble going, and you can generate quite a bit more pressure. I like that shot. Try to place it top corner, and then we really would like to be shooting those on, but it happens. And then that's just a great place shot. Well done. Way to punish him for making the mistake of not holding back post.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Really nice shot here.
Well, can you watch it from my perspective, Screams? I want to show you how quickly I get up for this ball.
All right. Let's see.
I felt pretty cracked once Chris got this touch.
That's a great read. Really fast. You absolutely dusted him.
Yeah, so that felt really good. My boy Chris diming me up.
Yep, that's a really nice play.
That pizzeria chemistry, bruh.
Let's see. Huge faith. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you kind of bang the ball off your own corner here, which is a huge no-no, right? Even if you have teammates behind you to try to follow it up. But especially now because, Lonely's pretty far back. He's not going to be able to follow it. You basically just dime beans up, and you have to hope that he's not a shooter, right? Instead, I would prefer to see you take a little bit more time and try to touch this one with your wheels, right? It's pretty free for you to touch it behind Fern. And basically just try to touch it with your wheels as softly as possible into the corner, and you have all the boost in the world to recover, follow it, take it up the wall, do whatever you need to do to buy your teammates time to get back, rather than pretty much giving your opponents a free attack. Right? And it's, again, just another, play safe as last man. If you're last man, you need to think safe. Don't be greedy, especially because, you've just tied the game up. You really don't want to throw away a goal off a silly touch in the corner. So here, I think you rush this a little bit, Lonely. You have a lot of boosts. You're completely unchallenged. I would much prefer to see you wait a little bit, let one of your teammates get into a second man position, then try to pass it to them, rather than going, I can touch the ball, I can bang the ball, I'm going to bang the ball, right? As soon as you can. Because again, that's kind of just giving away possession.
Okay.
Here. So after you hit this ball, I know you're 9 boost, right? But you get a free pad there, and now you're on 21. You can do quite a bit with 21 as second man, right? I would much prefer to see you, instead of just shipping it out immediately, right, and assuming that the play is not going to go your team's way, just wait a little bit, maybe cheat up for this pad, maybe this pad once you read Chris's touch, because he actually gets a great outlet pass to you that you could then follow up and put a lot of pressure on, right? If you notice, there's literally no one in the net right now, right? So any redirect towards net is just a goal. So we'd really like to be there to punish that, or at least put some pressure on Beans to have to act fast and not let him do whatever he wants.
Okay.
Right? He ends up giving the ball right back to you anyway, which is really poor play by him, but at the end of the day, that was a free ball just because you weren't there for pressure. And then I think this is a little bit of a tragic situation. Oh dear. So here, you see Lonely misses the ball. And this is another instance where you cannot, even think about challenging this ball, right? Unless Alex gets such a bad touch that it's just freely away from himself, you need to be pretty much faking right around here and then just driving and shadowing back to net, right? Your last man, right? We don't want to be a hero as last man, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is much better for you to just play safe and make sure that you're not the one losing the game for your team, rather than trying to make a hero play, get a challenge, try to win it, and try to win the game for your team or something.
Got it.
All right. Because here, Surge is he's screwed. Beans with the fake of the century, but you really just hung Surge out to dry by doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and it results in a loss. So that's going to be kind of the major theme that I want you guys to try to work on in scrims and matches in the next week. Is if you're last man, recognize that you're last man, first of all, and think to yourself, safe. Play as safe as humanly possible, right? Obviously, in scrims, I'd like you to even exaggerate it, right? Even give up on opportunities that, you have like let's say a 70% chance of, you're cleanly beating the guy to the ball. If you're last man, just don't risk it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to practice getting safe, controlled touches that do not result in any pressure against your own team. And it's going to pay dividends because you guys look pretty good other than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that, and try to take time when you have it. And please try to calm for each other that you have time, right? Oftentimes, when you're actually playing on the ball, it can be really difficult to recognize, like, hey, there's no defenders around me, and also there's no defenders coming at the present moment. So it's really instinctual to just try to, get a quick outplay, and that results in banging the ball away. But if you guys can talk to each other and say, hey, man, you have time, take time,
Mm-hmm.
That can result in some really, really strong plays. Any questions?
Chris, any questions?
Nope. It all makes sense.
Sweet.
I think the only thing I'll add, Scrims, is like with you saying that we need to just be letting our like teammates know about time. I know
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm doing I don't know, you can maybe speak to this, Chris. I don't know if I'm doing it all the time. Um but I will let like whoever's on the pitch, if they're going for a ball or something in our own corner or something, I'll let them know if they have just a little bit of time, and then usually I'm letting them know like, oh hey, man's coming now, So
Yeah, I think we are communicating it. I think it's just like
we're still
just
antsy
mentally
about it and stuff.
having that as like yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, we just gotta get like the mental thing. Just get it in there.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
That's all I have for you guys. So, was there anything else you guys wanted me to cover specifically in game 3 or 4? Any